to Contemporary Black Voices, and my name again is Dr. Sharon Michael Chadwell, sitting with Chris Dawkins and Caleb Alexander, and we're talking about the implications of this latest ruling of the Birthright Citizenship and how it could impact Black Americans.
Yeah, so I mean, and so I think we're getting a little bit into the weeds on this one, and so, but yeah, I think the overall topic is really important. And so how does this, or these set of this spate of recent decisions, how will they affect us? And so the simple truth of the matter is the Constitution has been amended, right? So when you amend something, you change it. And in order to change, in order for the new amended Constitution to change, they would have to amend it again, which would require both the House and Senate, and it would also require a majority of the states. That ain't happening.
Right,
Okay?
right.
So the idea that that's going to change or affect, or we're going to get rid of that particular amendment, I think that
Which
remote.
amendment?
The 14th.
Okay.
Or the idea we're going to get rid of birthright citizenship, which is now enshrined in the Constitution. The idea that we can remove that, I think that's kind of remote, because again, it's going to require both houses and the majority of the states.
Something to keep in mind is that, again, if that 14th Amendment was ratified in 1868, specifically to guarantee citizenship to formerly enslaved Black Americans. By allowing Trump's executive order to move forward in some states, the court's ruling chips away at the clarity and universality that guarantees, and this decision echoes uncertainty and exclusion that Black Americans faced before and after that decision. So we're all sitting here trying to figure out,
Right.
this is a what the hell moment.
I'm at a loss, because the Constitution, you can't apply the Constitution haphazardly. It either applies to everyone or it applies to no one. And so you can't pick and choose. Individual states, individual districts, individual courts can't pick and choose which sections of the Constitution apply to their states. You know what I mean? And so it's universally applied. It's the Constitution. And so that right there is troublesome. But at the end of the day, so the Supreme Court will probably make it very clear that no, the Constitution applies to everyone. And so the states can't choose to ignore which provisions they like or which provisions they don't. That's like California saying, you know what, guys, we don't care about the Second Amendment. We're taking away everybody's guns in California. You know what I mean? California can't do that and say that. You know what I mean? And Texas can't say, well, we're going to give everybody guns. You know what I mean? You can't pick. States can't pick and choose which amendment that they're going to allow.
So this is another thing. While the executive order targets children of non-citizens, it's going to disproportionately affect Black immigrants from the Caribbean, Africa, and Latin America. Many of these families already face heightened scrutiny and systemic barriers. And the ruling could lead to, and we're already seeing elements of this discussion, of a child that was deported. And sent wherever she was deported, she's stateless.
She's what?
Stateless.
Okay.
Because they didn't allow her due process. So you got this baby that's somewhere running, placed in some country where she's, and it's not the country of her ancestors. So she's in a country that she's,
Oh, wow.
she's stateless. And then for us,
Who's us?
us, Black folks,
Okay.
for many Black Americans, this ruling is a reminder that citizenship rights must be actively defended. It underscores the need for legal advocacy, civic engagement, and coalition building across racial and immigrant communities to resist policies that erode constitutional protections. So this kind of goes back to the root of your discussions when we first got started with Contemporary Black Voices. Where are our Black leaders? Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? I'm already, first of all, and you're going to hear about it during Hot Topics, I'm already ticked off at the Black Trumpers. Because they didn't want to vote for I'm going to call her brown-skinned woman, Kamala Harris. They didn't want to vote for her, and they got caught up in this red pill, blue pill environment that helped influence their decisions. And now we are going to have to fight hard to maintain what we believe is our citizenship rights. I'm not hearing a plan of action from any of our leaders as to how we're going to navigate
Who
all
are our
this.
leaders?
The only person right now that I got my eye on is Reverend Jamal, Bryant.
But
Other than that, who are our leaders? Step forward, get on the TV and say, look, this is a bunch of BS. This is what we need to do. But who are our leaders? Who are our leaders?
But again, do we? And I think it goes back to, do we need do we need a single or a group or of people to lead in this day and age? You know what I mean? So leadership is a lot more dispersed. I'm not sure.
Why you got a coach on a team?
I'm not sure.
Why the Jewish people got a leader? But
I'm
go
not
ahead.
sure. I'm not sure.
Okay.
And the reason I say this is because I've watched movements around the world that are organic, that take to the streets. People communicate through social media, Twitter, WhatsApp, Facebook, and they create mass movements. A lot of times, and the movements have been pretty effective. Whether you look at the youth movement in Kenya, or the youth movements that have happened in
But leaders evolve out of there, right?
a lot of times it's organic.
Yeah, it starts organic.
And I tell you what, and the reason why it works is because people cannot target a specific leader.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? They can't send the secret police to anybody's home.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so it's more effective.
You kind of think about it. I'm in a Black Gardeners group.
Mm-hmm.
And every now and then someone would put a post up.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you need to do in events like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes on, then it goes. But still, I think that we need to have some type of semblance
Mm-hmm.
of who our leader is. And I challenge the Black churches,
Mm-hmm.
since this is where it all started. Even on the plantations, the Black ministers, the reason why they did all the hooping and the hollering was to keep the people out of the fields
Mm-hmm.
for working. But somehow through their sermons, through their singing, they were able to transmit messages.
Right.
We need these Black ministers, although we don't want politics in the pulpit, but somehow we need their platform to help communicate what folks need to do, because there's a lot of people who don't know what this means.
We have a lot of folks who don't even go to church anymore. The Black church, they complain about lower membership is dying, and a lot of times a lot of Black churches have become symbolism of a more educated, more elite society, whereas they're missing outreach to younger folks, inner city folks, lower income folks who are not going into the churches because they don't see a message for themselves. But with that being said, the question is this even our fight? Because if we're going to keep it real, they are targeting Latinos. When you keep hearing the number 65 million or 84 million or whatever that, we're not 65 million. We're still in the 40 million range. Mm-hmm. We know who they're going after. We know who Alligator Alcatraz is built for.
Is that a test?
Huh?
I mean, is that a test for them to see how far they can get with that, and then they come for us later?
I don't think they see us.
The spook who sat by the door, they come for you today?
And so you would have to ask, do they even see us as a threat? Now, is that pathetic that they don't see us as a threat? That's another topic.
Okay.
But the simple fact of the matter is we know who they're going after. We know who they're pulling over asking for papers. We know who they're rounding up. And people are on the news crying, I'm a citizen. I was born in this country. It's not Black folks that are saying that. So we know who they're going after. So is this our fight?
Other than the Haitians, and we're going to go ahead and end them Haitians in New York, they weren't playing. So anyway, this is Contemporary Black Voices. Put your comments out there. We do read them. And we want to thank you for your support. And again, this is Contemporary Black Voices, where we're telling our story our way.